What if Gettysburg had ended not in Union triumph but in disaster? Imagine a world where Pickett's charge shatters the Union line, the Army of the Potomac collapses, and Washington, D.C. stands exposed. The North reels, peace movements surge, and Lincoln's government faces chaos. Across the Atlantic, Britain and France seize the moment, recognizing the Confederacy and breaking the Union blockade. The Civil War becomes an international crisis. The U.S. faces not just rebellion, but European might. Lincoln, cornered and desperate to prevent total collapse, is forced to negotiate. The Treaty of Richmond, 1865, the Confederacy is recognized. The United States is split in two. The world's great democratic experiment has failed. The war ends, but the American tragedy is only beginning. The new border is more than a line, it's a scar. The Mason-Dixon line becomes a militarized frontier, bristling with forts and patrols. The U.S. clings to industry, immigration, and restless ambition, defining itself by what it is not, the Confederacy. The CSA is a proud, rigid society ruled by a planter elite and built on slavery. The border is a place of tension and heartbreak, dividing families and fueling skirmishes. The U.S. surges ahead, cities swell, railroads spread, and innovation thrives. The Confederacy remains agrarian, its economy chained to cotton and tobacco, its society steeped in tradition and hierarchy. The two nations speak the same language, but understand each other less with every passing year. The Ohio and Potomac rivers, once lifelines, are now moats of division. The Cotton Curtain is real, and it separates two worlds. Life on either side diverges dramatically. The U.S. looks westward, hungry for progress. The CSA clings to the past, its future mortgaged to human bondage. The Confederacy, emboldened, pursues its dream of a slave empire, the Golden Circle. Cuba falls first, annexed and transformed into a vast plantation. The CSA pushes into Mexico and Central America, carving out new slave states. Slavery becomes more entrenched, more brutal, and more industrialized than ever. The international slave trade explodes, families torn apart across continents. Rebellion is met with terror, the system grows ever more cruel. The U.S. watches in horror, powerless to stop the expansion. A Cold War simmers with both sides arming and maneuvering for influence in the hemisphere. The Confederacy's empire is a nightmare for millions, and a threat the U.S. cannot ignore. The continent is locked in a struggle for its soul. The 20th century brings global war, and deepens the divide. The U.S. joins the Allies in World War I, its industry and soldiers tipping the balance. The Confederacy, sympathetic to Germany, stays neutral, but aids the Central Powers in secret. Spies and saboteurs cross the border. Trust is gone. In World War II, the U.S. becomes the arsenal of democracy, fighting fascism abroad and wrestling with its own contradictions at home. The CSA, isolated and authoritarian, quietly supports the Axis, its ports open to German U-boats. After Allied victory, the Confederacy is a global pariah, condemned by the United Nations and shunned by the world. The U.S. emerges as a superpower, the CSA is left behind. The border hardens, and the two Americas drift further apart. Ideology, not just geography, now defines the divide. The world moves forward, but the Confederacy clings to the past. The 1960s ignite the fight for civil rights, but only in the North. In the U.S., activists march, protest, and win landmark victories. The Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act reshape the nation. The journey is painful, but progress, however slow, is real. In the Confederacy, there is no progress, only repression. Slavery, now called permanent servitude, is enforced with terror. The CSA becomes a fortress of white supremacy, cut off from the world. The breaking point comes not through protest but through violent revolt, the servile wars. Uprisings rock the South, met with savage crackdowns. The plantation system collapses, the economy implodes. Under pressure, the CSA abolishes slavery in the 1980s. Not from conscience, but desperation. Freedom comes without rights or land, replaced by a new apartheid. The old order survives, just in a different form. The Confederacy is broken, but not healed. In 2025, the two Americas are worlds apart. The U.S. is a global powerhouse, innovative, diverse, and forward-looking. Its cities are magnets for talent and hope, the American dream, battered but alive. The Confederacy is poor, stagnant, and isolated. Its economy never recovers, its cities decay. Racial oppression endures with Afro-Confederates trapped in poverty and fear. The border is a humanitarian crisis. Thousands risk everything to flee north. The U.S. struggles with the influx. The CSA condemns the refugees. The wall meant to keep people in now stands as a symbol of desperation. the legacy of division is everywhere. The dream of unity is a distant memory. After 160 years, two nations, two identities, the U.S. is a cultural superpower. Its language, music, and ideas shape the world. American culture is restless, diverse, and ever-changing. The Confederacy is insular, its language archaic, its culture obsessed with tradition and the lost cause. Symbols divide, the stars and stripes versus the stars and bars. For the U.S., the Confederate flag is a mark of shame. For the CSA, it's pride. Education, media, and history books tell two irreconcilable stories. Neighbors are now strangers, raised to see each other as adversaries. The family feud of 1861 is now a permanent estrangement. Reconciliation seems impossible. The question of reunification haunts both nations. In the U.S., some see it as a moral duty, others fear the cost and the poison of Confederate ideology. In the CSA, the oppressed dream of freedom, the ruling class dreads Yankee rule. The obstacles are immense, economic, political, cultural. True unity would demand a reckoning with history on a scale never seen. The wounds are deep, the divisions old. The story of a divided America is a warning. Unity is fragile, and the cost of disunion is immeasurable. The struggle for a more perfect union is never finished.